pre-show going on here.
Can you hear me?
Who was that in the background, Danny?
Can you guess just by the voice?
Sound like Victoria.
It's exactly right.
You know, I thought that was coming out of the sports book.
He thought you were in the sports book. He didn't know you were just behind me. No, she walked away. She just said that and walked away.
Oh, kind of like how she just walked away from the show and didn't say goodbye or nothing. Burn.
Oh, I wish she could have heard you.
Yeah.
We got 1 minute left. There's no way we recreate how good that burn actually was.
That was a good burn. On today's show, we will have Daniel Cormier. He will join us via phone. King Mo, you probably already see him there in the background. And Laura Sanko.
Yeah.
I like Laura Sanko. She's funny. And she is responsible for one of the greatest fails on our show ever.
I sent that to you. You definitely still have that.
I love meeting new people and interacting with fans online. I think it's a blast. It's a really a really fun part. Oh my god, I ended the show saying fart. That's a really
Is there
fun
any way we
part of my
can get her
job.
to say that again? We have to try to get her to say that again.
Yeah, it should just be like her thing, right?
Yeah. All right, we're coming up in 10. You want to ask Mo for a song and then just send it to me over Facebook?
Yeah.
And you think of a couple and then I'll think of a couple. All right, coming up. Stay by. Go.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goze. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goze.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goze, our co-host. Back east, handling all the producing duties, it's going to be Danny. Sitting to my right, our co-host for the day, former Strikeforce light heavyweight champ, current Bellator light heavyweight contender, King Mo Lawal. What's up, Mo?
What's up, light heavyweight and heavyweight contender, man?
Yeah, that's true.
You guys left one out. What about Moneyweight?
Moneyweight, yeah, you forgot that too.
That's true. I wish I could say middleweight. Just one time in my career, I'd like to say that he fought at middleweight.
Is it still
Big
an option,
McDonald's
man?
eating food. When are you going to give it one shot?
I love McDonald's. I ain't had McDonald's in about 2 weeks, though.
Oh, yeah?
What's your go-to at McDonald's?
I get myself 2 cheeseburgers, apple pie, 20-piece chicken nuggets, fries, and milkshake. No whipped cream.
Could you? Yeah, you don't want to get fat, right? Get rid of that.
You know, whipped cream just fills you up.
Could you ever do the 50 chicken nuggets?
50?
Yeah, we had a junkie try that, and he came very close. I think he got to like 46.
Oof.
You know what? I could try. You know, as a matter of fact, I've been studying competitive eating. This guy named Matt Stoney. I've been studying him. He took third at the hot dog eating contest. And the guy named Randy Santel. They do eating challenges. I study their technique on the YouTube all the time, so I think I probably could do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Joey Chestnut won it again, right?
Yeah, he's a beast.
He did.
Was second place Kobayashi or someone else?
Guy,
he doesn't do it no more.
He doesn't?
Yeah, he's retired.
Oh, wow. I wonder how long it thrashes them for. About a good week?
I got to imagine,
you
right?
know, like, what do you eat after that? Just
water.
How much weight do they
apples
put on?
and water or something?
A lot, man. But Kobayashi has arthritis in his jaw, so he had to retire.
Really?
You can
Wasn't
get
there
arthritis
like
in your
some kind
jaw?
of scandal with him or something like that?
I don't know what happened. I know he got arthritis in his jaw, and he had to take a little break from a.
You can get arthritis in your jaw.
Yeah, you can get arthritis in anything.
Before I walked in, Goze didn't say, "Hey, see if you can convince George that arthritis in the jaw works. I'll give you $10 or something like that." I feel like there's no way something like this.
No, I'm dead serious. You guys, bro, look, I know a bunch of useless information. That's one thing I know is true. Kobayashi got minor arthritis in his jaw, and it affected his eating career. Dead serious. Hey, Junkie Nation, look it up.
Oh, I'm gonna. Yeah. But I guess. I mean, I don't know you to be a liar, so I'll have to take your word for it.
Look, I studied Kobayashi career. In my opinion, he's one of the greatest athletes around for eating.
Oh, my God. He's an athlete now, too?
Mentally.
You're not one of them guys that, like, if they have the 100 greatest athletes ever, you go, oh, Secretariat. Like the horse, he won the Triple Crown.
No animal, but Kobayashi should be in the top 100, straight up. Mentally, name me. Look how he eats.
But the Joey Chestnut like surpassed his.
Yeah, Joey. But Kobayashi set the bar very high.
He did.
Then Joey Chestnut surpassed it. Matt Stoney surpassed
Isn't there an Asian gal that's always top 5 as well?
The Black Widow. Yeah, but there's another girl that beat her. There's a woman coming up named Molly Sawyer. She's a beast too. She destroyed like a 5-pound burrito. I watch all that stuff. I don't know why I watch it. But she destroyed like a 5-pound burrito in like 30-something seconds.
What?
Yeah, or maybe a minute, 45. Look it up. Molly, Schuyler. She can eat straight up. I watch that stuff on my phone. I be watching all the time. Matt Stoney, I follow.
What happened to cartoons and Japanese anime?
I watch cartoons still.
Yeah.
Do you watch Ginormous Food? Do you ever watch that show?
Nah. But Manfred's Food came back though.
With a different person, right?
With a different person. It's gonna start back up, I believe, in August. So I'm ready for that.
All right. We'll get back to that, but let's talk about this past weekend, International Fight Week, Tough 25 finale, Friday night. Gaethje, Michael Johnson, great fight. And then, of course, we thought it couldn't be topped. And it may not have been, depending on what you like. But 5 rounds, Whitaker and Yoel Romero for the interim title. We have a new interim title champion in the middleweight division. And, of course, controversy. Why was that the main event, George? Because Amanda Nunes elected not to fight on Saturday morning when she woke up not feeling well. And, of course, many opinions there. That's a teammate of yours, Mo. We'll get your opinions on that. But many opinions there scattered throughout the media, the fans, the people in the know as far as, like, what really happened with Amanda Nunes. She declared that it was sinusitis that she had, but that was the next day, the day of. We didn't hear much from her camp. The UFC, of course, had given their version. And it's interesting because it does really become a race to who can put out a statement first, and then of course people start to lean that way and try and you almost have, if you're the other side, you have to come stronger to disprove that. But anyway, where do you want to start? The controversy or the fights that happened?
I guess the controversy is probably what everybody wants.
All right, the controversy.
Knock that out. Yeah, controversy, because the fight, get the negative stuff out the way first, so we can get to the good stuff.
Okay. Amanda Nunes, and she made weight. Both of them made weight. Apparently, Friday, she wasn't feeling well, so she was taken to the hospital. And a doctor checked her out and said she'll be okay, Saturday, same thing. Woke up, wasn't feeling good. Again, another trip to the hospital. Doctor said she could fight. So really, it was left up to her. She decided not to. We had limited info from her side, from her camp. So all we were going off was what Dana White gave us. At that time, many people started forming their opinions immediately. Why? Because MMA fighters are so freaking tough. And so if you watch Embedded and warm-ups and they got through the weight cut, and that side, meaning the fighter in question, isn't declaring anything, then of course you start to wonder what's the deal here. If there's not a serious injury being talked about, could it have been the nerves? Could it have been anxiety? If you'll recall, Stefan Struve was going to fight Matt Mitrione here at Mandalay Bay. And I think it was as he was warming up, he just broke down and cried and wouldn't come out. Kevin Randleman, if I'm not mistaken, same thing. Vitor Belfort. John McCarthy had to convince Vitor Belfort to come out because some sort of an anxiety happened. So, Goze, that's honestly, as someone who's suffered from anxiety in the past, that's honestly what I thought, guys. I thought it might be nerves. And what happens is it takes you over, and really it's not that your body can't perform, it's just that your mind's telling you other stuff. Well, your thoughts?
Nobody knows but her. But if I had to pick a side, I would say not nerves. Only because she's been thrusted into some situations that a lot of people would have nerves in. UFC 200, one of the biggest cards ever.
Right.
And she fought Miesha Tate, who will probably be a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest female fighters ever. She had Ronda Rousey in front of her. How many girls would piss their pants with that girl in front of her?
Right.
She didn't back out of that. Right.
Sarah McMahon.
There's no history of her ever
Kat
acting
Zingano.
this way.
Yeah, she's fought the best.
She's game
No
for
doubt about
everything.
it.
She
And
showed
she
up
beat
for
Valentina
everything.
before. She beat
Yeah,
Valentina
and
before,
she already beat her. So if I would feel like I would be silly if I tried to tell you guys she's afraid of that girl.
Okay.
Maybe her feelings have changed since the first fight,
Right.
but enough to make her not want to fight? No. I mean, who would come up with that strategy? I'm really afraid to fight her. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to not get paid, go all the way to Vegas, make weight, and then I'm just going to get out of it. Like, that doesn't make too much sense to me. As far as what she's claiming, look, man, there's been times where I've heard somebody tell me, oh, I got a headache, I can't function, I can't go to work. I've had headaches too, and I've thought, well, I could power through it. But then there's been times where I've had silly shit happen to me, you know, and I'm hobbling around the house because I have an injury that most people would laugh at. The difference is I'm not getting punched in the face when I go to work. I'm going to work, and I'm typing on the computer, I'm talking to you, I can do my job. It's a lot different than going and getting in an actual fight where I could get hurt, where things can change. We talk all the time about how little things, bad decisions, can change a fighter's career and how much longer they have to wait to get to where they want to be. So I'm not trying to make excuses for her. All I'm saying is I'm going to give her a pass because she has never shown me that she's that type of person.
All right.
Now, if this happened again, then maybe now I start to think that. But even then, man, I'm not her.
Right.
I'm not there.
Okay.
I didn't talk to no doctor.
All right, so I'm going to play the other side, but I'm kind of with you. But I also am listening to the naysayers, and then we'll get Mo's opinion. If you think about it, well, for one, the last 3 to 5 years, she hasn't shown me anything. Her resume's pretty clear. Her slate's pretty clean with me, too. Like, that she doesn't seem like the type of fighter where she would be overtaken by fear or nerves. But anyhow, what I did want to say was, as the stakes get higher, could it be that, you know, obviously that pressure mounts? Some can handle it, and some just unravel. I mean, look at Ronda, how great she used to be with her fans, with the media. It got so big, one loss, and boom, it was pretty devastating, right? Others take it in stride and then come back and win another championship, or just win great fights. Maybe never reclaim a title, but win great fights. Excuse me. And then the other thing is, why wasn't Amanda, I guess, maybe more clear about what was affecting her? And that way, either her camp or, I don't know, we could hear maybe something more from her side other than she went, everything was fine, and then, you know, 24 hours after the backlash comes through, why only then are we hearing her side? So, I don't know. Mo, please chime in. That's your teammate at American Top Team, and of course, you've been in these big fights, so.
I'm going to keep it all the way 100, you know what I'm saying? I believe that it was just something that popped up. I don't believe it was her nerves. You know, nerves for what? Let's look at her background. She came from a favela in Brazil, had nothing, made something of herself. She came out to the people that she's openly gay. You know what I'm saying? She put herself out there. What's there to fear? She's fought the girl before. You know, as far as the statement is concerned, like she's, you know, her English ain't her first language. You know, and the people that she's surrounded with, English also ain't their first language either. 2.
Well, her girlfriend speaks.
Yeah, her girlfriend speaks.
Right.
But the thing is, like, you know, she's not feeling good. Next thing you know, you go on Twitter and you see Dana White says something about you. That's your boss.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Say something back in return and start a battle? You know what I'm saying? Just keep it real. You weren't feeling well. She came out here. And now it was different. She came out here and she was like 10, 12, 15 pounds over and had a hard weight cut. She came out here 2 weeks in advance, 5 pounds over. She was good.
Yeah.
She was prepared. She's ready for battle. But something obviously happened. A lot of times when people come to Vegas, they underestimate the heat. They also underestimate the allergies because you complain about sinuses. You come out here, come from Florida, you know, when you're doing humidity, and you come to Vegas where you're dry air and mulberry trees and cottonwood trees and all that stuff.
And we're half a mile up. A lot of people forget we're half a mile up.
And the thing is, like, people forget that the dry air, the heat, you know, we're coming from Florida. That might have got her as well. And, you know, she's not feeling too well. The doctors might say, oh, you can compete. But the doctors aren't in her head. They don't know that she's not, what else is going on with her. Because sometimes it's hard to explain yourself, especially when you're not feeling well. For anybody, you know, I'm not going to say on names, but for anybody to come out there and say that, you You know, to talk down and say she should have fought, but to me, it's stupid because why would you want your champion to go out there and compete, not at 100%? You know what I'm saying? If you don't you want, you know, as an organization, don't you want your fighters to be 100% so they can put on the best show possible?
A lot of fighters say they never come in at 100%.
It don't matter, but the thing is, physically, I can tell you this: most of my career, I've been about maybe.
You've fought with torn ACLs, haven't you?
Torn ACLs, man. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be
Staff?
no. As a matter of fact, let me be 100. I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna tell nobody this, but I had to resurface hip. Peep this, man. I'm gonna be the first person in MMA history to fight with resurfaced hip. See the scar? Bam.
Damn.
That's why I couldn't come. They went in, scraped my hip out.
When was that?
That was 4 weeks ago. I was bone on bone. I've been bone on bone on my right hip for 7 years.
Oh, that's what kept you out of the what should have been the Bader fight?
Yeah, for 7 years, I've been bone on bone, man. And I went and got a cortisone shot, got two done 3 weeks. And I was like, you know what? I got to get this fixed, man, because it hurts to walk. I found myself struggling to walk through the airport. Got it done. And now I'm going to fight again, but you just never know what people are doing. Your goal is to you physically might not be 100%, but mentally, if you're a warrior, you're going to be 100%. Like, I fight injured so much. I can honestly say my first fight is probably the only fight I fought without no injury. Every fight I've dealt with the injury or some type of sickness, something like that. But the thing is, mentally, I was 100%. Physically, we're not there, but mentally, if you're a warrior, you're gonna think through all those injuries.
I guess I'll say this, and again, if anybody didn't tune in here in the last couple minutes, I'm playing the other side, but I still have some feelings towards this. You guys have almost, men and women, have raised the bar on yourselves for these injuries you've had in the past, and that's why I guess fans who pay money, who travel, who get the hotels, the flights, come from very far, Brazil, Peru, all over the United States, the promotion that invests all this money, I guess they're expecting somebody who's not 100% to still, face the music, regardless of what it may be. I don't know much about sinusitis, honestly. I've only heard one opinion, and it was from somebody who's had it, who said antibiotics can take care of it, but I just don't know how many levels of it there are. And I don't even know. Now I'd have to investigate. I should have, I guess, where that stands with USADA and everything.
No, but it's cool. Okay, take antibiotics, okay? But you take antibiotics, you'll be healed, but guess what antibiotics does? Destroys your cardio. Destroys, like, the antibiotics is the worst thing you could possibly take. You can't digest food as well either. Now, Amanda, let's be real. Let's be 100. I love Amanda. It's my homegirl. She can fight. But she's had a history of cardio issues in the past, right? So if you're dealing with sinus issues and you've had a history of cardio, like, I know she was ready to go 5 rounds. But let's say she fought Valentina and she really could go about 3.5. But she won 3.5 rounds. She's up. But let's say she's dealing with that sinus issue. And instead of 3.5 rounds, she can only go 2 rounds. Then she loses. And then come press conference, she's like, man, had a hard time breathing out there, have a sinus issue. What's people going to say?
She's making excuses.
Oh, man, she should go join a different team. She has poor cardio. Man, if she wasn't feeling well, she shouldn't have fought. Right? Mm-hmm. But now, since she ain't feeling well, she ain't fighting, guess what? People are still bashing her. What y'all want? Y'all want someone at 100%? Wait for a person. All right, 100%.
But there's a flip side to that. Amanda, how you feeling on Wednesday or Thursday? I'm feeling great. Best camp ever. I'm ready to do this thing on Saturday. Hey, Amanda, how come you didn't fight? Oh, man, all week I've been battling this. So it's like on our side it's confusing too.
But the thing at the same time.
Not that I want her to reveal her hand.
But at the same time, don't forget. Yeah, when she left Florida 2 weeks in advance.
Yep.
5 pounds over. So she was feeling great. But the longer you stay in a foreign environment, things can catch up to you. She really honestly should have came out here the week of because the altitude here is not that drastic.
You don't think you think she only should have came out a week
before?
Yeah,
because
here's what she told us once, because we asked her about the cardio issues, and she said the same thing. The hot desert air, Vegas, does a number on her. So when she beat Misha, she came out 2 weeks in advance, and she said that helped her acclimate. So I think that's why she stuck to that. I'll give her that because
I believe
she offered an excuse, but she also offered a solution. So
I believe that's true, but at the same time, like Vegas, the summers, because I live in here, summers are different. Some are more extreme than others. And from what I feel, this summer kind of seems a little more.
It's brutal.
And when I got here, I got off the plane, and I'm like, I can deal with heat. I'm dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sunburning. But when I got off that plane, boy, I was, man, I felt like a damn, a melted Hershey bar. For real, I was like, someone throw me in the freezer. You know what I'm saying? So I can get hard again. Because I was like a damn blob. You know what I'm saying? And she probably came out here thinking she's feeling good, and she was feeling all right, but all of a sudden something just hit her, and it happens.
Yeah.
We can't feel great every day. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, her slate's pretty clean, and the 3-5 years that she's been at the top, and I followed her.
And the thing is,
I've never seen anything less than a tough SOB.
She's tough.
A tough DOB or whatever they call them.
Y'all fans, the ones that are mad, okay, y'all have to be mad, but the fight got postponed. But guess what? It's going to happen again. Y'all going to see the best Valentina, because she's on point. She's a beast. You're going to see the best Amanda Nunes. And y'all can see a great war. It's gonna be and that fight right there will be a fight worth paying for, because you're gonna see both women at their peak, feeling great and ready.
It's just weird to me that I would feel like a hypocrite if last week we're sitting here talking about weight cutting and what it does to fighters and how we have to protect the fighters and save them from themselves sometimes, and then turn around and say she should have fought even though she didn't feel well.
Exactly.
I would be a hypocrite. So because she doesn't have a history of any of this, I have to give her a pass.
Have you had sinusitis issues where you can relate?
The closest I could say is, when you have a cold and you're just backed up and you have all that pressure here in your head, and it's just hard to focus.
And I've had it to where you can't breathe, because the thing is, when you throw a jab, when you throw a punch, because you got to breathe out. Now, imagine you try to breathe out, and when you breathe out, you're blowing out snot. And then you try to breathe back in, you're breathing in snot. Next thing you know, your ears start popping, your throat start itching, and your wind starts going like this. And you're swallowing spit, and you're trying to cough spit up. And you're dealing with a girl that can bang. Valentina got them hands. You know what I'm saying? She can counter punch. She can grapple. She can do judo. So you want to be fresh. And I think she made the right decision. I think that I don't know Dana White. I don't know that boy. I don't know him. But I think he made the wrong decision by bashing her, because he's not in her body. And as her promoter, he should think like, okay, you know what? She made the right decision, because we want the best fight available. What if she went out there and that fight was like Curtis Blades and the other dude? What if it was like that? People be like, oh, man, that fight was terrible. And then she would have been out there and did an interview being like, you know what? I'm sorry I tried to fight my best, but you know what? I've been dealing with sinus issues. I had to pace and coast, and I didn't want to disappoint y'all, so I fight anyway. Well, guess what? You disappointed the fans by fighting and making the fight boring. So either way, you damn if you do, damn if you don't. You give them a showing it's terrible, man, she's terrible, I ain't going to watch a fight. You don't fight? Oh, man, she's a coward. I ain't going to watch her fight. So what y'all want?
Can we agree that the naysayers are feeling what you're saying, but you also got to feel what they say? Like, a lot of athletes have performed when they've been really sick. The most historic one ever is probably Jordan with the flu.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
At a high level. I think it may have been Game 7 or Game 5, but it was NBA Finals.
Yeah, whenever he wants.
Time out. He can time out. Let me get water break. Time out. Hey, Phil. 20 seconds. Let me get out. No, 20-second timeouts in MMA or boxing and that stuff. All the naysayers, let me tell you something. I give a damn about what naysayers say. You know what I'm saying? Give a damn about them. You know why? Because how many of them naysayers actually fought? How many of them naysayers can actually say, I stepped foot in the cage, got hit in the mouth, not feeling good?
Ben Askren's been pretty open about saying she should have fought, so he's fought. No, so, there's a lot of people on that side that have an opinion, but he also said, it seems like there's just limited info, but
I respect everything with Ben Askren. Ben Askren's a competitor. Ben Askren would fight. I would have fought. You know what I'm saying? Because I've dealt with that. Ben Askren has probably dealt with that, because me and Ben Askren have competed in the worst in the worst situations, over in Russia, not feeling well, having the Russian referees cheat us. We've dealt with that. We've overcome or we've lost, but we've experienced that. Amanda, her background's MMA pretty much. So her competition experience isn't at the same level as me and Ben Askren. So if she were to go in there, she'd be at a disadvantage, where me and Ben Askren could go in there and figure out ways to make plans. If plan A don't work, we can make plan B, C, and D work, because under pressure, because we've dealt with that. I can also say she hasn't had a chance to deal with that yet. And let's let her deal with that feeling fresh, because then she'll understand, okay, she's fresh, she's dealt with that. She's like, all right, well, you know what? I'm confident enough in my skills that I can deal with anything else, any type of outside, interference type thing that holds me back from being the best I could possibly be.
Junkie Nation, what do you think? 866-522-2846 goes?
I don't want to be this negative guy, but going back to what you were saying about Dana White, the one thing that stuck in my head when I heard that was, if this were Ronda Rousey that did all this, Could you not see a scenario where Dana sits there and
coddles
says,
her maybe?
what do you guys want from this athlete? She's an Olympian.
Yeah, she
she's fought at the highest level. If she's not feeling good, we're not going to throw her out there.
Yeah.
I don't know why this.
Exactly. Dana would be like, hey, we know she knows her body. So she's competed at the highest levels.
You really think she's afraid?
Yeah, you think she's afraid? Yeah, of course. And that's how. You think a man's afraid? What? Let me tell you something. I spar with Amanda. I spar with her at the gym. She ain't afraid. I spar with her. I stood right in front of her with my gloves on and spar with her. I've gone rounds with her before. What's she afraid of? She ain't afraid of nobody. I guarantee you give her the right amount of money. You give her the right amount of money, she'll fight anybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody. I don't care. I guarantee you they give her the right amount of money, she'll fight anybody, even Cyborg. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I just know how she's a competitor. She'll fight anybody. She's a fighter. She has that dog in her. You know what I'm saying? Like Errol Spence. Y'all seen Errol Spence fight?
Yeah.
That's how Amanda Nunes is. She's the female Errol Spence, in my opinion. She has that dog in her. She ain't backing down from nobody. This time she had to because she wasn't feeling well. But give her the benefit of the doubt. All those naysayers, y'all ain't fighters, you know what I'm saying? If y'all are, okay, I understand you. But if y'all ain't been in our shoes. It's easy to talk, but you know what? Step foot in our shoes. Go out there, start training. Like I said before in the past, start training. Get you a fight. Experience that for yourself.
All right, you're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We're going to take this break right here. When we come back, we'll take your calls. 866-522-2846, and then of course we'll talk about the fights that did occur, including Justin Gaethje versus Michael Johnson at the Tough 25 finale main event, and then of course UFC 213. That main event was a classic as well. Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker. Stay close. We'll be right back.
They pat down TSA agents because they don't know where those people have been, and because they can. They are Gorgeous George and Goze, and this is MMA Junkie Radio.
I want to welcome to the panel Laura Sanko, UFC and FS1 reporter, also known as the Grand Rapids Phenom. Welcome, Laura. How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Good, yeah. That was interesting. Mo, have you removed your foot from your mouth yet? Or?
It's deep in there still. That's why I'm quiet.
I love Mo. Mo called my first fight.
Oh,
did it?
Yeah.
She has skills.
Back when it was the Ronaldo, Mo, and Julie Ketzi team?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. We know it brings you to town, and we're going to get to that.
All right.
However, a lot of stuff went down last week.
A
International Fight Week. We started off with the fight that didn't happen. Believe it or not, we spent 25 minutes discussing both sides. Although I agree mostly with Mo and Goze, that Amanda Nunes, the sinusitis problems that she had are valid. There's a lot of people out there that are questioning. I don't think anyone's outright said you're a liar, whatever, but maybe they have, maybe they haven't. I don't read everybody's. I think most people are just kind of holding on. People are raising that eyebrow. I gave the other side of, maybe what she could have done or what people might be thinking. But Laura, please, what are your thoughts on what went down on Saturday when she announced that she wouldn't be fighting?
My visceral reaction was probably what yours was, and that was like, man, come on, we gotta do this. We gotta. This is that moment. We gotta make that happen. The money put into that, and it's funny because I actually got in an argument with my husband about this. He said it's not Amanda Nunes' job to make money for the UFC, and I kind of think it might be part of her job to make money for the UFC. That's a tough question. I don't know, but when I really sat back and thought about it, I would not want to put my belt on the line if I did not feel good. And I know sinusitis doesn't sound like it's all that difficult, or like, oh, she's got a cold. She's wah. I think she fell off of not fell off the scale, but she stumbled after she weighed in. Obviously, her equilibrium was not 100%, right? Obviously, her ability to breathe, not 100%. And in a sport where you can come and go like that, I get it. I do get it. But that being said, we would love for everyone to be Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah.
We would love that. We would love for everyone to pull their groin and be like, "What fight?"
I was telling Mo, it's
but
almost
not
like the fighters,
is.
the precedent of the sport. These fighters, previous past, have set the bar high on just how tough they are, and I guess we've come to expect that anything other than some sort of a concussion in the back.
Yeah.
In the back,
that's the hard
pretty
thing.
much, let's cart them out there and fight.
Tough, but it's kind of stupid. Because you could be tough but stupid at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cerrone fought with all his injuries, and you know what? Let's hope that, in the future, all that don't catch up to him. It happens to all his fighters. We go out there not feeling 100%. Go out there and fight. We have some success, but the moment we go out there and don't have success and we get smashed, and that what happened? Well, we can be like, you know what? My back was messed up, so was my shoulder. And people ain't trying to hear that. Like when Pacquiao fought Floyd, Pacquiao was hurt. Was people trying to hear that? No, because they paid $100. You know what I'm saying? It would actually been better if they would push that fight back and waited so Pacquiao could have fought Floyd at 100%. And things that if Pacquiao would have fought Floyd at 100% and people have been entertained, pay-per-view would be thriving even better. But I feel like when people have a bad taste in their mouth from a bad fight, they pull back from pay-per-view. Like, for instance, like, let's be 100. Like, after people watch Conor versus Floyd and people go in there thinking it's going to be something, extravagant, they're going to see something that's not. And they're going to be like, you know what, I'm not going to spend my money on this no more unless I get something that is really entertaining me. Yeah. That's why I'll be like, for Amanda, get the best Amanda possible so she can entertain y'all. That's it.
I think a lot of people forget that fighters are in different places in their lives. A lot of fighters have fought in these situations, but a lot of them needed it. Otherwise, they're going to get evicted out of their apartment. Yeah. Or they couldn't make a car payment or whatever. Fighters are in different situations, and not everybody can just say, I'm not going to fight, right? And I think fans are a little too harsh sometimes when it comes to that.
And it's a double-edged sword, too, because I'm sure she was feeling this. Obviously, it just didn't happen that day. I'm sure she knew and had that feeling of dread going into like, oh man, I'm getting sick, I'm getting sicker, I'm trying to cut weight. And obviously she wanted to fight. You know, she went through the process of cutting weight while sick. I can't imagine
went home
anything
with
worse.
zero, man. No paycheck at all.
So I feel for her. I'm just saying that I don't think that the people who are being somewhat critical are completely off base. I don't think that they're nutsos that are just being completely hard on her. It's just a tough situation all around.
If they're fighters, okay, I understand. If they're not fighters, then they can't say nothing.
That's a good point.
I see what you're saying, but I'm not trying to hear it because you never stepped foot in that cage before. Now, if you actually stepped foot in that cage before, then I understand because you dealt with that. We all can't be Don Cerrone because Don Cerrone, he's a special type of fighter. You know, if that was the case, then we all be fighting regardless. You see cats with one arm, you see cats dead, you know, being zombies fighting in the cage. You know what I'm saying? Don Cerrone is a special type of athlete, mentally tough, Muay Thai fighter. You know, he fought Muay Thai. Those guys that fight Muay Thai and fight like that, fight his style, they're special. They're mentally tough. All not like Don Cerrone, so you have to
Now, does that include Goze and I mean, we've seen our thousands and thousands of fights, and yes, we've never stepped in. We've played other sports, not at your level, but still, we've seen enough. We've covered enough. We understand what you're saying, right?
But y'all are different because y'all actually educated in sport. Y'all get the insight. Y'all sit with fighters on a daily basis. Y'all hear the inside stuff. Y'all hear stuff that the stories that follow people, like people that watch MMA and pay close to them, they ain't heard. So y'all know all this stuff. So y'all can put be like, you know what? I'm not thinking as a fan. I'm thinking as a person, like a fighter. What Amanda said makes sense. Or okay, I'm thinking as a fighter. What this guy said doesn't make no sense. Think as a fan, and you don't care. Like he has a compound fracture, so just cut it off. Like, you saw Rocky, right? You know, y'all are different. Y'all educated in sport, man. Y'all educated combat sports.
Could she have handled it better, guys? All of you. We'll start with the lady. Could she have come, I guess, out with a statement maybe 24 hours earlier?
You have to be proactive with that stuff. I think the most valuable thing you can do in PR is to get ahead of the worst possible thought that someone's going to have of you and think it yourself. And essentially say, be worded better, but essentially say, I know what you're thinking. This doesn't sound like it's that big a deal, but here's what I'm dealing with. My equilibrium is off. I can't breathe. My title's on the line. And so yes, I think she could have handled it a little bit better. And communication with the people higher up in the UFC, I'm sure, is always a super valuable thing. I'm sure she was in communication, but the more that you can stay on top of, hey, this situation may be coming down the pipe, the more people appreciate it.
I don't think she was expecting to get thrown under the bus by her boss. I don't think a lot of us don't expect that, right? If I call in sick, you're my boss. Mm-hmm. Or my friend, I think, if anything, you may even cover for me. Even if I go, hey, man, really, I'm going to Disneyland, but I'm going to tell people I'm sick. So I think that's the way it played out in front of everybody else's eyes, but I'm not so sure that's the story that happened behind the scenes. Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, he's being asked these questions, so he's answering them. Like, can you give us an update? And everyone's blowing up his phone, so he puts something out. And then the follow-up question would be, well, did the doctors clear her? You know what I'm saying? So he's answering these questions. So, again, a lot of people, I think, are programmed to just automatically go, there he goes again. And then, of course, the ones that are fans of him are like, oh, they think it's Bible. So I try and decipher both sides. And
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because if it would be like the Curtis Blades, my dog, he can fight. He fought smart the last fight. But if it would be like the Curtis Blades, Polish guy fight, man, people have been
That's the best thing that could have happened to Blades, by the way. That experience, those 15 minutes, is legit, in my opinion.
I think it's great, but you saw the fans reaction, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine Amanda Nunes and Valentino had a 5-round fight like this.
All right, we promised the callers to get some time in. Let's do that, and then we will we'll talk about the other fights. Hell, we haven't even gotten to these classics with Gaethje and Michael Johnson on Friday night, and of course Romero with Robert Whittaker on Saturday night. Brian from Boston, what's on your mind?
Hey guys, that's probably a good jumping off point as well, because I did want to talk about Johnson versus Gaethje. The fight was phenomenal. That's everything in an MMA fight that I enjoy. But I think we got to pump the brakes a little bit on Mr. Gaethje. You know, it seems right now he's one fight away from a title shot. His style of fighting reminds me of old school Arturo Gatti. Where the first time I saw Arturo Gatti, I said, you know what, that kid's going to have an exciting career, but a short one. That no defense that he has, it's going to cost him greatly. And you put him in some of the high-ranking killers, and he's going to get eaten alive with that just straightforward zombie crap. Now, you put that kid on every single card and every single pay-per-view, I'm buying it just for the excitement factor. But I think, you know, the UFC and everybody else is a little bit overboard of just putting him in the top 5 that quick. Your thoughts?
Well, he comes in with an 18-0 record. He's a champion in another promotion, and he just beat a top 10 guy. I'm not sure exactly where Johnson sits, but he's been a top 10 guy for a while. He's beaten Ferguson. He's beaten Lazan. He's beaten Barbosa. So getting past Michael Johnson's no joke. At the same time, he finished him,
agreed.
And there's a history, especially in the lightweight division, where guys from WEC came in and took a stranglehold of the UFC lightweight division. Eddie Alvarez won the title, and Gilbert Melendez, you know, I mean, he was a split decision away from beating Ben Henderson. So there's history there, I guess, and that's why I think people really take it serious what he's done and where he's at. Anybody want to?
Do you put the World Series of Fighting up against Bellator and Strikeforce, though? I don't really consider.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the problem with so many people, like with you. Like not them. What you're saying is cool, but the problem with what you're doing is you're trying to match the organizations up. It's the styles that make the fights. Gaethje is going to be a tough fight for anybody if you can't deal with the pressure fighter. You know what? Pressure fighters get hit a lot, yes, but guess what? They can deliver. And Gaethje has a strong chin, has a strong will,
fearless,
good cardio, comes forward. He can counter punch as well. He goes to the legs. He goes to the body real well. So he has a good style, but he gets hit a lot. But when you are a pressure fighter, that's what happens. You live by the pressure, you die by the pressure.
Yeah, I've always said, man, outside of the UFC, you know, there's a lot of great fighters that just aren't in the UFC, but they're UFC caliber. So, yeah, Brian, to answer your question, I do put him up there, man. That's no shocker to me that he won. I picked Johnson. I knew it'd be a close fight. He hurt Gaethje. He was this close to winning it himself, but Gaethje's tough, man.
Big,
I love the fact that he owns it. I love the fact that in his interview, I'm aware that I'm, you know, going to get knocked out at some point. I get that.
Yeah.
And the fact that he owns that and his job, he sees his job as being an entertainer. And anymore, I mean, we all know that is almost as, if not perhaps more important sometimes than winning.
Thanks for the call, Brian.
Thank you. You remember what I've been saying? Like, remember years ago I said MMA is not a sport no more. It's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You got a perfect person out there to entertain, especially on pay-per-view. They should put that guy on pay-per-view because he's a blood and guts warrior.
Yeah, he's got to stick that landing though, man. When he jumps off, there's still a little bit
at least
of a rumble.
before he does it, right?
Yeah, he fell down the first
That was the
time.
fatigue.
Then when he landed, there's
That's
still.
the fatigue that set in. You know what I'm saying? The body shots earlier caught up to him. He shook that and then made it the second time.
Let's go to Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco?
Marco from Waco, ¿qué pasa, vatos? Kim Mo and the lady.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, shout out to Bobby Knuckles and Justin Gaethje for giving me 2 main events back-to-back that are worth remembering, because I don't care if the rest of the fights on those 2 cards suck. The 2 main events made the weekend for me. You know, that's what I'm going to say about that. But on your discussion about Amanda Nunes, man, I'm going to play devil's advocate, the other side, you know, the side of the fans. Now, Mo, I disagree with your argument that if you've never been in the cage, you shouldn't talk. Myself, 16 years in the Army, 2 tours in Iraq. I still put my body armor, strap my boots on, pick my rifle. I went to all my missions, regardless of how I felt, regardless of how I was, not trying to get shot, not trying to get blown up, and see my bodies getting blown up too. So that argument doesn't fit well when you don't know the background of certain fans. Now, Amanda does this for money. And if the freaking news that we're getting is that she was medically clear, on our minds, we're not hearing from her what is wrong with her. We're thinking, why did she back out from the fight? I understand that it's circumstances. I understand that, anxiety builds up. Sinuses might affect you. Yeah, but at the end of the day, on the fact, and I'm not the fan, I am a hardcore fan, so I know better. But the casual fighters do not know that. And if we're hearing radio silence from Amanda, then all the freaking PR, all the freaking news gets created by the UFC, and that's what we hear, that's what they hear, and that becomes the reality, perception of reality. Remember that. Whoever leads you guys, catch you next time.
Thank you, Marco. Mo?
Man, what he says, granted he went to War Force, and he's a vet, great job. He chose to do that, you know what I'm saying? Amanda ain't no slave. She wants to fight. She ain't forced to fight. You sign a contract, if you're not feeling well, don't fight. You know what I'm saying? Dana White, he knows the deal, because that was Ronda Rousey. If that was any other champion, if that's Conor McGregor, guess what? He would have backed them on that. He'd be like, you know what? They're the champ. They're not feeling well. Let's listen to them, because they've stepped up many times and fought for us, just like Amanda has.
Right, but again, it's fun to. I like the discussion, but in the past, he's also come at some of his superstars as well, like the pound for pound great. He's having a battle with him with Demetrius. He's gone to war with GSP a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm talking about we're talking about Amanda not fighting because she's not feeling well.
Because the fighters always say you're never 100%.
Yeah, you're never 100%.
So fans and media.
No, yeah, that's true. But the thing is, we're never 100% physically, but mentally, if you're not, look, it's like this. I can go out and fight. I can be injured. I've fought injured my whole career, but mentally, I've been strong. But if it was the other way, if I was out there physically strong but mentally weak, I would lose every fight. It's a mental game. Fighting is mental. It's not physical. That's what people don't realize. It's mental. There are people that fight injured all the time, yes, but they're mentally prepared for that. They're mentally prepared for that. But Amanda probably wasn't mentally prepared for the sinus issues and the equilibrium.
I think what'll happen is we're gonna pocket this incident, and as the sport grows, because we're only 23 years deep, we're still in the leather helmet stages. I got that leather helmet somewhere back there. I just imagine we're all just gonna continue to learn and learn.
But here's the problem. The problem with that is, like I said before, in other sports, people have grown up playing football. You tackle somebody, right? You've caught a pass. You've hit a baseball before. We grew up basketball. You shot a 3-pointer, probably airballed it.
No, I'm money.
But like I said, we've all played these sports. We've had experience in that. But not many people have that experience stepping foot in the cage, making weight. You know what I'm saying? Putting MMA gloves on, putting Vaseline on, to listen to their corner between rounds. Not many people have had that experience. They've watched it, but they haven't experienced it for themselves. In football, we've experienced that. We've experienced stuff in basketball, track.
I know, my man, but listen, fighters have come out. Dominic Cruz said it. Michael Bisping said it. Ben Askren said it. So it's not. I didn't just pick Ben's name out of a hat. I mean, there's a couple in there that are on that side.
It's three. Okay, it's cool. But the thing is that Dominic Cruz, what's his background?
Oh, he started as a wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wrestling background.
Yeah.
Bisping, what's his background?
Boxing,
kickboxing. They all had a background prior to MMA. Amanda Nunez came from the favela, just joined MMA. She's athletic, and just MMA is her first actual sport. You know what I'm saying?
Wasn't she a black belt in judoka or something like that?
No,
or judo, sorry.
Man, come on, man. If she was a black belt,
it's on the profile.
Okay, that don't mean nothing. Was she compete? I'm talking about where she competed at a high level or something and actually been tested. It's different. People, if you've actually had competition experience, then yeah, you can deal with that. If you really haven't, it's a little different.
All right, let's take this other break. I'm getting the C sign. We're not cripping over here. It's commercial time.
Cheeseburger.
Oh, cheeseburger. Okay. Yeah. You're listening Chipotle. I thought you meant. All right, I'll get it after the show. You're listening to MMA Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. King Mo, Laura Sanko in the house.
King Kong has a lot of shit on them. Like a lot, especially Goze. Here are Gorgeous George and Goze.
Tennis fans, SiriusXM takes you to the All England Club for live coverage of Wimbledon. Hear the biggest matches throughout the fortnight on Sirius 145, XM 201, and on the SiriusXM app. What's a fortnight, GG? A fortnight is 2 weeks. All right, let's sneak in one more call here before the break. And, geez, through all this goes, we still haven't really covered the fights,
right?
The events, the Hall of Fame, and the fact that we have our other guest coming up as well in a few minutes, right?
Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, Daniel Cormier will join the program. He's fighting. Who's he fighting in? Oh, yeah, John Jones at UFC 214 on July 29th in Anaheim, California. Let's hear from Rodney from Vegas, though. Let's continue on here with the calls. What's up, Rodney?
Vegas, baby, Vegas. Hey, what's up, boys? Listen, let me tell you about sinusitis. I have chronic sinus problems, and that shit ain't no joke. I got to Vegas last Monday, and I'm just now starting to feel normal. This desert air out here is no joke. I saw the statement that she put out, and she said she went to the doctor and they gave her medication. Well, I know the medication because I always have it on hand, Sudafed, you know, your prescription strength Sudafed. You know, here's an interesting fact, though, about Sudafed. Just for shits and gigs, I looked it up on the official USADA ban list. Sudafed is on the list of banned substances. So if she was on medication, she would have shot herself in the foot if she would have fought anyway.
I don't believe she would have taken that without the doctor knowing and there being an exemption.
TUE,
Yeah, there would have been an exemption there.
Therapeutic usage exemption.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you this. You hear guys talk about fighting, like, on antibiotics, and if you've ever... I've had a staph infection training on antibiotics, and it is like death. Sudafed is the same way, man. Like, I can't imagine fighting on Sudafed. It'll kill your cardio. But, you know, to Mo's point, most people haven't been in the cage. I have. I haven't obviously been at her level. I never will be. I don't plan. About 36 years old. I just do it for the sport. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm getting back in there on July 21st here in Vegas. I hope y'all can make it out there for that. The other thing is this, though. I do want to co-sign a little bit of what Marco from Waco is saying because, listen, as a soldier, yeah, I've been to combat, and it was life and death. Okay, you could say, well, I chose, if we're using the logic that we chose to do that, well, then so did Amanda. But, again, I'm empathetic to Amanda, but you can see where I'm coming from, too, because I didn't choose to be a soldier. That was chosen by God. That was a path I was put on, and that is a selfless sacrifice. So I'll never go back to that and say, well, you owe me because I put my life on the line for you.
I got to jump off. I got to jump off here because we're up against the clock. Thank you very much for the call, sir. Remind us again about your fight that comes up, and we'll definitely try to be in attendance. All right, folks. Daniel Cormier will come up after the break. We got Laura Sanko and King Mo here in the house, and we'll keep all the discussions going in the second hour. Get in the queue at 866-522-2846. here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. King Mo chose that last song to come back to. I'm going to throw out some results. And if something jumps out, let's get to it, because there's a lot to cover. Mayweather and McGregor are going to go on a 4-city tour, and they are selling out arenas just for the press conferences, which should be pretty entertaining themselves. Sign me up. I definitely will want to tune in. I may give up after the second or so. It's probably going to get a little bit repetitive. But still, that. And how about this breaking news? Gegard Mousasi has signed with Bellator MMA. So there you have it. One of the top middleweights in the world moving over from the UFC to Bellator. He had stated his preference was to stay with the UFC, but apparently they must not have met his number, because he's headed in your direction, Mo.
Congratulations to Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah. You guys have done battle before.
Yeah, I think he's a good fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know what he's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? If he's gonna stay at 185, or he's gonna 205, or even try to fight heavyweight, because Gegard's a money weight fighter too. He's fought 85, 205 heavyweight. He's a hell of a competitor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. What he's gonna do in Bellator.
You welcome him?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I don't care who comes. You know what I'm saying? You know what? The more the merrier. If they get what they want with them, it's good for them.
Justin Gaethje defeated Michael Johnson. Jesse Taylor won $290,000, and he won the redemption season of The Ultimate Fighter, season 25. So good for him. I would say that if there was anybody that needed to redeem themselves, it was probably him.
Oh yeah.
So very well deserved. Drakkar Klose gave a loss to Mark Diakiese. First loss for Diakiese. Drakkar Klose winning that decision. It was a split. Jared Cannonier defeated Nick Roerick. Brad Tavares got a win over Elias Theodorou. Jordan Johnson defeated Marcel Fortuna. Angela Hill defeated Ashley Yoder. James Krause defeated Tom Galicchio. CB Dalloway defeated Ed Herman. Tisha Torres defeated Juliana Lima. And Gray Maynard defeated Teruto Ishihara. However, let me note that fighters who do the show on the day of their fight are now 59-14. Gray Maynard and Brad Tavares called in on Friday. They got what's called junkie karma, and that's what helped. I mean, they obviously had the skills, but I think it was that little push that gave them the win. So I offered it to two fighters that are fighting on the card, Laura, that you'll be working on. We'll get to that in a second. And both politely declined. They're focused on the fight. I'm like,
no.
They don't know. They don't know what they don't know.
Hey, let the people.
I am just not feeling that one bit. I think you can do an interview on the day of your fight, because I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo in the middle of huge games in soccer that I watch worldwide by millions. I've seen Tom Brady. I've seen Michael Jordan during games answer a question or two, and they have that laser focus to come right back and go in there and win world titles. So I'm just not feeling that. I'm sorry. And that's why we created this whole thing and got it started, and we've proved it. It's over an 80 percentile for anybody that calls in for the show, and now I just think they're killing themselves. You're going to say something?
Might be nerves. I feel like maybe you should release those names, because if anybody's gambling, bet against the people that turn down the interview.
That is a statistical anomaly. That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
That
we
is
don't
crazy.
plan it. It's just the way it works.
Of course,
out.
it's just whoever does or doesn't, or there's got to be something to that though. Maybe the more confident fighter feels like
few fighters have called up. In fact, Mo, you got a couple of those.
Always. Yeah, the thing is, I don't care. You know, it's a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, either you're ready or you ain't. If you're nervous, then don't get nervous. Just go out there and fight.
Yeah.
You should be obviously confident in what your skill set is and your team. So just do the interview.
Does it work for broadcasters?
I think so.
They don't mess up.
Tiffany Van Soos.
Yes.
Ask her. She's done it 3 or 4 times, right?
Yeah.
She's done it 3 or 4
We've
times.
actually had a fighter ask us we came in and did a show on a Saturday once.
Because of the juju?
A lot of people are superstitious.
Really?
They wanted it.
Oh, man, this is
They really
great.
wanted it. All right, the next day, Robert Whittaker became the new champion by defeating Yoel Romero, and we'll get into that in just a second. Alistair Overeem versus Fabricio Verdun. Close fight there, but the Reem goes home with the win. Curtis Blades defeated Daniel Omalenchik. Anthony Pettis got his swag back. He defeated Jim Miller. Rob Font owned Douglas Silva de Andrade. Oli Olenek defeated Travis Brown. Dana White asked about Travis Brown, what his future may be. He said he thinks it might be time for him to retire. Chad LaPriest defeated Brian Camozzi. Thiago Santos defeated Gerald Mischart. Hopefully I said his name right. Bilal Muhammad defeated Jordan Mean. Cody Stamen defeated Terrion Ware. And Trevin Giles defeated James Buknovich. All right, let's get this one call, and then we'll talk to our two guests and the stuff that they got going on in their lives. And, of course, if you want to chime in at any point, it's 866-522-2846. Goes an update on Cormier?
Working on it.
All right. Oreo from Alberta, Canada. What's up, man?
Hey, how much time do I have?
Just
Cormier,
hustle. Just hustle.
Alright, cool. Yeah. I'm kind of on the side where Amanda should have fought. I mean, Mo, like, as a person that went to 2 Rising tournaments, you won the first one, you were fighting heavyweights. I mean, as a fighter that just goes in there at all times, I'm surprised that you're kind of condoning this. I mean, you fought injured, you fought sick, and yeah, you're cool with this. I'm just wondering why.
Because, you know, just because you fight injured and sick, don't mean that's a smart thing to do. It's actually stupid, you know what I'm saying? Because you're actually being injured and sick, you're actually risking your life. Look at Pritchard Colon. Look at Magomed Abdulsalamov. No, look at these boxers. Pritchard Colon, Magomed Abdulsalamov. Look at those guys. They went out there, fought healthy, and left in comas. You know, this game, you can't play with it. You know what I'm saying? You're risking your life. Whenever you step foot in that cage, it's a possibility you can leave without an eye, without your life, broken arm, torn ACL. So why risk it? Why go in there not 100%? You know what I'm saying? Granted, physically, you're not always 100%, but mentally, you have to be. And obviously, Amanda wasn't mentally 100% to go in there with that issue.
Okay, and then George, real quick, there's some rumors going on that Bisping might be coaching the Ultimate Fighter for Tough 26. Is that true?
Okay, thanks for the call, Oreo. He had stated that he wanted to coach versus the winner of Romero and Whitaker, but I would say that because what that does is kind of hold up a division for a while they get through the filming and then the eventual season. I would think the UFC would want that sooner rather than later. So Whitaker did have an injury. He got one of them linear kicks, but it seems like, from what I heard, he had a previous injury and that exacerbated it. So we'll see how serious that is. Bisping, of course, is also slow in recovering from an injury. A lot of people are pointing towards that Sydney card that was revealed by the UFC. Maybe that might happen then, or maybe MSG, or maybe the end of the year. But I don't think they would coach, because that would be Bisping's 3rd coaching stint. I think that's an opportunity. They would say for someone else.
Tough 26 females?
It is.
I would think that they would have female coaches.
Possibly, yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah, obviously.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick catch up here. Mo, when do you think you can fight again? You're supposed to fight Bader in New York, and you had the injury, and then you revealed the surgery that you had.
Yeah, October, November. Pretty much, I'm gonna be cleared to. I've already been training a little bit. The doctor's gonna clear me in September. He said, "Whatever you want to do." But my goal is to try to fight in October, November, or October and November and December. I'm gonna fight three times for this year if I can.
And Coker's pretty much anointing you as the #1 contender, although Linton Vassell's not too happy about that.
Man, look, I'll fight Linton, I'll fight Bader, I'll fight Matt Mitrione, I'll fight anybody, you know what I'm saying, besides my boy Sensei Roy, because that's my dog, you know what I'm saying, Sensei Roy. But anybody else, I'll fight them. Oh, and my boy Chael Sonic, that's my dog too, because when I was sick, he looked out for me. But other than that, I'll fight anybody else. I don't care.
Okay. But what do you prefer?
To get paid?
Title?
So fight. I don't care. I really don't care. I'll fight for the belt. I just want to fight, man. You know, I want to fight. That's all I want to do. I'll fight for the belt. I got to keep on winning, and the title shot will come. Or let me fight for the belt when I get right back. You know, it's up to Coker. So I'm just sitting and waiting to fight somebody.
All right. And, of course, Laura, you're in town because you're part of the broadcast team for Dana White's Contender Series. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited for
this. Are you a backstage reporter, a roving reporter?
You know
What's the defined role?
Yeah, I'm actually going to do the live post-fight interviews. They just are not going to happen in the cage for this format because of some logistical things. But literally, fighter fights, fighter wins, fighter walks out of the octagon right over to me, and we do a post-fight interview just like, you know, Joe Rogan or Brian Stanwood. So I'm excited. Kind of
8 straight weeks, right, to start things off?
Yeah, 8 straight weeks.
And, of course, it goes down tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on the UFC Fight Pass.
Live on UFC Fight Pass. I love this format so much. It's live. It's a nice, quick, tight night where there's not tons and tons of fights rolling on. You can really get in there, watch some fights, and go back to your family, not have to set aside 6 hours of your night for it. These are guys that have been in the UFC, are on the cusp of being in the UFC, some incredibly, incredibly exciting matchups. If you've ever been to, which obviously I'm sure you have, the more local shows where you see fireworks because these people are slightly less tested, a lot of knockouts, a lot of quick finishes, I think that's what we're going to see. And the biggest thing is that at the end of the night, Dana White is going to do the the Roman soldier.
The emperor?
The emperor, thank you, the emperor, that was the word I was looking for. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Not literally like that, I don't think, but...
And basically by that he's saying,
yeah,
you are now invited to...
Exactly. At the end of the night, I'm going to interview him and say, hey, what did you think? Who's in? And my understanding is at his discretion, he can pick 1, he can pick 5, he can, it's the business interview of a lifetime is what it is.
Awesome. Interesting. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that
You're
twist.
welcome.
Yeah. And your headline bout will be Kurt Holloway versus Matt Bissett. All right. We will get back to that in just a second. Right now we got to focus on the UFC light heavyweight champion who joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. It's Daniel Cormier. He will be headlining UFC 214 on July 29th in Anaheim, California against John Jones. What's up, DC? How you doing?
What's up, man? How you guys doing? I'm sorry I fell asleep for a few minutes. I woke up this morning and trained at 7 and try to get a little bit of rest in between going back here in the next 30 minutes.
Why did you train at 7?
I like to get up and do stuff in the morning, man. My coach, boxing coach, he likes me to train at 7. So I get up at 7 a.m. and I work out, and then I go back to sleep for a little bit, and then I work out at 12, and then I come home and sleep again, and then work out in the evenings.
All right. Can't argue with the results. 18-1, world champion. Daniel Cormier joining us here. So I got Goze with me, of course, and I also have Laura Sanko, UFC and Fox Sports reporter, and your boy King Mo's in the house, too.
Hey, what's up, D? You ready to get that belt? Keep that belt.
What's up, Mo?
We keeping that belt. We keeping that belt, right?
What's up, my brother? I didn't expect that.
We keeping that belt.
I didn't
keeping that belt.
Yeah, I'm keeping that belt. I'm definitely keeping that belt.
Mo says he only has one question for you. You might as well get it out of the way, Mo.
Hey, man, after you win, Daniel, where you going to on a trip? Where you taking the family to?
No, the after party, you guys.
Oh, no, forget the after party.
Okay.
Where you vacation at, Daniel? Where you going on vacation at? Because I know you put that work in.
Nah, man, I'm doing my honeymoon in the Bahamas early August, and then I'm taking my family to Disney Alani. We have a family vacation we go to every year in Hawaii. We're going to go there with the kids, man. It's going to be fun. So, that's what I'm doing.
You deserve it, man. You got to take care of business. I know he's going to win. Y'all put the money on
Thank
DC.
You,
straight
brother.
up.
I appreciate it.
Put the money on DC.
All right. Well, DC, so let us know. You're only a few weeks away, and the one thing I wanted to ask you, and then we'll spread it around here, is in your preparations for Anderson Silva, you said that camp was a little easier. You and Kane had huddled up, but the night of the fight, you just didn't feel as prepared as other fights, and that's something you didn't want to go through again. Since then, I think you've gone back. What was this camp like? Was it more about staying healthy, or did you push it like all them other camps you've ever done in the past?
No, it's back to the volume. It's back to the volume training, sparring a lot. Back in the day, we sparred 3 days a week, and people thought we were crazy. And then we started listening to that crap, about sparring too much. And
thank you.
And then before I thought I was going to fight John in July at UFC 200, I really pulled back on my sparring. I would spar Monday hard. Then Wednesday I would do like just techniques and drills. And on Friday I would spar like with little gloves, so it was super light. And I did not like the way I felt in the fight when it got switched to Anderson. So for Anthony last fight, and then now I'm back to sparring hard I spar really hard on Monday, 5 rounds. Then I spar really hard on Wednesday, 5 rounds. And then on Friday, I spar in the red room. Mo knows the red room. And it's not as intense, but it's still a lot of rounds. I do like 8 to 9 rounds on Friday. So I'm doing a lot of sparring rounds. Man, I was telling Mr. Bob Cook yesterday, we're 2 weeks away, and I'm like, man, I'm almost done. But I'm not really almost done. I still got 30 rounds of sparring left, which is a lot.
So you start your camp and knowing how many rounds you're going to address, or was that just the number you're throwing out?
That's the number that I have left for 2 weeks. I mean, I have 5 rounds today. I have 5 rounds on Wednesday.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
100% intense sparring. And then I have 5 rounds of technique sparring on Friday. And then next week I'm going to do the same thing.
And did you all huddle up as a team, or was this you only individually deciding that you're going to push it like you have in the past? Like, the same way you huddled up with Kane to take a step back, did you huddle up and say, no, man, it's back to the norm here?
Yeah, it was me. After UFC 200, I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling, so I went back to doing what I do. You know what I mean? I'm not big on change. I'm not a guy that likes change all that much anyway. So it took a lot to actually make that original change. And then when I didn't fight as I wanted to, it was very easy for me to say, I'm going back to doing what I like to do. and that's sparring hard.
Goze, what do you have for Daniel Cormier, UFC light heavyweight champion?
Daniel, with John Jones ahead of you, if you were to beat him this time, it would make you guys 1-1. Do you feel like you need to beat him, 2 times out of the 3 matchups for you to really feel like the victor in the whole series, or would beating him 1 time be good enough for you?
As a competitor, you obviously don't want to leave even or behind. So I would like to beat him twice. But with everything that has happened, I had almost come to the conclusion that I was okay if we never fought again. Because I'm ready to fight. I was ready to fight last July. We could be doing this 3rd one right now if that stuff didn't happen last year. So I feel as a competitor I want to win 2 fights, but I think the story for me has changed a little bit. Before it was all about John Jones. Now it's my story. I've changed my thought process in regards to him. I don't really need to fight him at all anymore. I would be okay either way. So competitively, I want to win 2 out of the 3, but realistically, this is my story. Now he's just taking part in it now.
What were your thoughts on that cool promo that a lot of us saw for the first time this past weekend? I got chills. I'm not even involved in the fight. How did you feel when you watched it?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. I thought they did a fantastic job. The UFC has the ability to do things that a lot of different promotions can't do. And you saw in that video them really just kind of just saying, this is a big fight and we are going to treat it as such. And you saw it. You saw it in that promo. You saw it in the Ronda Rousey video when she fought Holly Holm back in 2015. You saw it in the McGregor Aldo. You saw it in UFC 200. When it's time for these big fights and they make these nice feature promos, they turn out well. I thought all the struggles were well documented of Jones, and I feel like watching it. It was almost as if I was kind of like it was like 2 parties. You saw all the ups and downs of his career, and I felt like I was just kind of the steady, more adult voice in that promo, which is, I think, the narrative of the fight. The steady person versus the up and down person.
Daniel Cormier, our guest here on MMAjunkie Radio. He fights at UFC 214 versus John Jones. He defends his light heavyweight belt. And with this one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Cannot wait for it. All right, we're also joined in studio by UFC and Fox Sports Fox Sports reporter Laura Sanko. She's got a question or 2 for you. Go ahead, Laura. What do you have for the champ?
DC, absolutely. Just following up kind of on that promo, I got chills. Like you said, I got chills as well. But there was a little part of me that I thought, I wonder what Daniel's sitting here thinking as he's watching this, because it does sort of paint this not poor John Jones. It was a very honest portrayal of what happened, but I felt myself becoming more sympathetic to his position, and I wasn't sure I wanted to feel that way. How do you agree with that, or did you get that sense at all?
I think the story of redemption is an easy sell.
Yeah.
The story of redemption is an easy sell. So maybe that's what maybe that's what you got from it. I like having the opportunity of being the person that doesn't allow for the redemption.
Doesn't need redemption.
For me, no, doesn't allow for it to happen. I will not allow him to have the ultimate redemption. Redemption for John Jones is just... His redemption is in the form of him being able to fight again. His redemption is not being able to be the champion anymore. That is not his end goal anymore. His end goal now is to get to the fight, stay out of trouble, and become just a fighter again. His story doesn't end with him getting the belt back.
Well, I know you're working really hard in preparation for this fight. I happen to know someone in your camp fairly well, so I have to give him a little bit of a shout-out, but I'll allow you to do it. I understand you brought in a new nutritionist for this camp.
Yeah, Tyler Mitten is doing my nutrition this time. Daniel Leaf was my guy for the last 3 fights, and one of my better friends. But sometimes when you get in these situations where you're surrounded by such high-level fights, new opportunities will present themselves. My strength and conditioning coach now has a lot of unbelievable opportunities based on his hard work and also the stuff that he's done in preparation for these big, massive fights. A lot of my other coaches have now developed other business ventures outside of just the business of Daniel Cormier, and Dan now is doing nutritionist with a really, really A-list singer. So he's moved on. And we've granted him, obviously, I wish him all the best. And Tyler works for the company now with George Lockhart and Dan, and they suggested I meet Tyler. I met Tyler, and Tyler's great. He works perfect for me. He's a good friend, and he's also a fantastic nutritionist.
There you have it. DC, one last thing here before we let you go. Your thoughts on what happened this past Saturday, Amanda Nunes pulling out of that fight versus Valentina Shevchenko. You've kind of heard the UFC side, and Amanda Nunes also put out a statement. We want to hear from someone that's in the same type of boat. I mean, you're a world champion, and, I don't know if you've ever come close to pulling out that late or if you just march forward. But how do you think that was handled?
There's a history of Amanda having that sinus infection or something. I don't know what it's called. Sinus. I don't know what it's called. But she has some sort of issue with it. Yeah, sinusitis. She has something with her sinuses that does affect her, and there's a history in the trail for it. I believe that there's a way that things get handled, and I believe there's a way that Dana's an emotional guy a lot of times, so he'll just shoot you straight. In the best of times, he shoots you straight. In the worst of times, he shoots you straight, and I think that's what you got. For me, I'm more, in most cases, I'm a little more sympathetic to the fighter, being that if she was sick, she was sick. This is a woman that has already fought and beat Valentina Shevchenko. This is a woman that beat Ronda Rousey, a woman that beat Miesha Tate. 2 women that are no longer fighting because of the beatings that they took at the hands of Amanda Nunes, essentially. So I don't believe she was afraid. I believe that she was sick. And if she was sick and could not compete, then she had every right to not compete. She is the champion. I just want to see how the UFC approaches when the next time it's time for her to fight. Yeah. But let's not be crazy. Dana is not above going back and saying I made a mistake. As he did with Chris Cyborg here recently. So I'm sure that as we go forward, there will be some sort of compromise from the UFC and Dana White, and them and Amanda Nunes will work going forward together again. But for me personally, I tend to side with the fighter.
Great to get the opinion of a fellow UFC champion and a member of the media.
The champ has a background, a world-class athlete, has a background in competition. The champ has spoken, and you heard what he said.
My man.
Did you get the feeling that as Daniel Cormier was talking, King Mo was like, "That's my dog"?
Yeah,
he basically co-signed everything Mo said.
Because I know Daniel. I've seen Daniel compete. I've seen what he's been through. I've seen Daniel competing injured. I've seen Daniel competing sick. And Daniel can do that because he's experienced that in wrestling. He's been pushed through that. So he won't pull out no fight unless it's like life and death. You know what I'm saying? Or something really that bad. But Daniel is one of the most mentally toughest people I've ever met. And the game is mental. So you heard from Daniel's mouth right there.
All right.
Naysayers, shut up.
All right. Thanks, champ, for the time, my man. Wish you the best of luck with the camp remaining. Safe travels to Anaheim. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Okay.
Later, Mo.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. Follow him on Twitter at DC_MMA. We'll be right back. We're going to take this break. We'll open it up again for some phone calls, 866-522-2846. We got Laura Sanko and King Mo here in the house on a Monday as we coming off one of the biggest weeks of the year, International Fight Week. Lots of stuff happened, including the Hall of Fame ceremony, and I want to talk about that when we come back after this break.
Up, down, down, left, right. BA, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goze.
The countdown to training camp is underway. Stay tuned throughout the summer for all the latest on the 32 teams as they get set for the 2017 season. The only place to hear 24/7 coverage of the National Football League is SiriusXM, NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the SiriusXM app. Laura Sanko, UFC and Fox Sports reporter here in studio with us, along with King Mo, former Strikeforce light heavyweight champ, and current Bellator middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight contender, as well as same goes for Ryzen. You're always contending over there. Yeah.
It's fun fighting.
Yeah.
He won't tell us who he'd want next, but I think handle your business with Bader.
I'm down with that. You know, obviously, I'll fight whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's up to Coker because I can't demand, Bader because it's up to Coker. So I'm gonna see what.
Well, he's already seeming to
if
lean that way.
If that's the case, then let's make it happen. Then let's make it happen. I'm down to fight.
I guess what I'm trying to do is pick your brain and see if it's already happened, and you just won't reveal it to us.
Man, look, we have not revealed the Junkie Nation. I tell y'all everything.
That is true.
Like I tell y'all.
No,
everything.
I could pick that argument apart. Easily.
Even if it's off record, I tell y'all everything.
When has he not told us anything?
Okay, how many times have we had him on? He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm 100% healthy," and then he'll reveal to us later. I fought with no ACL. This with my head.
Do that on the air, though.
But guess what?
But you can't. But you also can't. You can't preface it by saying I'm keeping it 100. You just got to say I'm keeping it 98.
No.
Leaving it out that I may be withholding a bit.
Gonna be my new line.
Y'all forget mentally. Like I said, mentally I'm 100%.
Gotcha.
So I'm ready to go mentally because it's a mental game. Look at Dan Kelly fought with what, a messed up knee. Whitaker fought with the messed up knee.
Whitaker, woof.
Yeah. Jacare fought with a torn pec.
Yeah, it's all mental. It's all mental.
All right. Justin Gaethje doubled up on the bonuses the other day. What I mean, has there ever been a better debut other than maybe Silva against Lieben, where someone just came in and did made a statement?
I like that the two main events from this weekend were both good but different, and I described Gaethje and Johnson as being the new fight. When you're at work and that guy goes, "Oh, that MMA stuff, it's all right. I kind of like it. What should I watch?" That's the fight you tell him to watch.
Yeah.
But a hardcore would also kind of like the way the main event at 213 went down as well. I had a lot of drama. It was fun. Bobby Knuckles, man, he toughed it out.
We should talk about that one because we haven't, and that was just a great fight. And, of course, we have a new interim champion. Now he needs to unify with Bisping. Once again, Dana White, UFC president, shot down that Bisping might get sidetracked and have to face GSP, even though GSP is putting it out there that he wants to fight Bisping in New York. Dana White is saying, no, we're going to have him fight Robert Whitaker. And again, let's see what the health status is on both guys, but it sounds like that's what's happening. But anyhow, that was a close fight. Arguably, it was 2-0 going into the third. Whitaker won the next 2 rounds, and it was 2-2 going into the fourth. There are some people out there that felt Whitaker may have been up 3-1, but I think 90% of people had it 2-2 going into the fifth. Is that how you had it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that fifth round, close.
Romero don't slip, he wins.
That's what a lot of people are saying, and I'm not so sure that is the case, but I believe it would have been.
But the reason I say it's the case,
even he said so.
That's the only round. That's the only round I really saw Romero walk him down, back him up, and actually have success striking, actually have success doing a lot of things. But that kick, when he slipped, I feel like sometimes when you have the momentum going, you might be tired, but you can keep on going. But when he slipped, the momentum broke, and he probably felt the pressure in the gas. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of gassed, and he was like, okay, I'm tired. Man, I have nothing left. I'm going to ride it out.
Yeah, I mean, but we're all in agreement that Whitaker won 3-2. There's no controversy here.
That was a good fight, man. Very technical, great game plan. Saw people get some good strikes landed, some good chain wrestling, some great takedown defense, good cage control, getting off the cage. That was a well-rounded MMA fight.
It was.
You didn't see much ground game, but you saw good wrestling in there and good exchanges in there.
I was impressed by Yoel's. It seemed like he had improved fight IQ. Sometimes he gets a little frenetic in there and burns himself out. He's so explosive, so crazy. He can open himself up to some mistakes. And I felt like he took a really, really smart approach. But I don't understand what happened in the third round when he just was like, I'm just gonna take this one out.
Well, I think he wanted to. I think what happened, he wanted to cruise a little bit, because sometimes if you watch, but I think he's going to try to cruise and then try to steal that round. But what Whitaker, if y'all notice, he's doing those teep kicks to the stomach, and people don't realize right below the belly button, you teep somebody or hit somebody there enough times, they will feel it. and it'll affect your gas tank, and you can see.
Or if you're me, you pee your pants. If you've had a baby, you pee. Just keeping it 90% real.
90%.
Oh, there's an out there. Did you hear that?
That's 93.7% to be exact.
Yeah. And does it matter if you have an outie or an innie on the belly button?
Well, I play like it hurts.
Okay.
It don't matter because you feel that toe hit you right there. Because you can see he was landing, and then you can see Romero go, make that face like again, like all right, I'm gonna keep on going forward, and Whitaker keep on throwing it, bam, bam, throwing it, and you can see the energy bar and Romero slowly start to drop.
I felt like he banked the first 2 rounds and he was going to wait and conserve energy, but when it was right to explode and he could pretty much get another round, then at that point there's enormous pressure on Whitaker. And I think it took him a round, but then he finally recognized the knee injury as well. So it was, it was strategic, but
in retrospect, do you think that was the wrong strategy though?
To take the round off? Yeah, looking back, I mean.
But at the same time, like Whitaker, the pressure, I feel like if he might have gassed out the next round have been done because the pressure, because Whitaker started turning up the volume and he started going to the body more, and those 2 rounds he went to the body. I think it paid off coming time for the 5th because Romero, like he didn't have that much left after he fell. He could, because if he would have just got back to his feet and kept on trying to fight, he could have won that fight. But he didn't try. Cause I think all the energy he had, he fought hard and fought smart. But Whitaker did his thing with the pressure and kind of fatigued him a little bit.
Talk a little bit about the champion. I know as a fighter, you'll fight whoever they put in front of you, but there's got to be a piece of you that goes, I think I'd rather fight that guy. How do you think that worked out for Michael Bisping? Do you think he wished he would have fought Yoel, or is Whitaker a bad matchup for him? Is he looking at the news today going, Mousasi with Bellator? Whew, that's a good sign for me.
Possibly with Mousasi, yeah.
I thought that was a bad matchup for him, Mousasi.
Yeah, Mousasi's a bad match for a lot of people. With Romero, I think he'll fight Romero, but I think that would be a great fight for Romero. But because I think that he's probably thinking, well, I have gas tank for days. I could fight him, and granted, I might lose the first 2 rounds, but making work hard the first 2 rounds, I could possibly win the next 3. That's why he's probably thinking. Whitaker, I feel like 185 Bisping can work a lot of people. I feel like he can get the decision, go get a 5-round decision with all these guys because his gas tank is so phenomenal. But anything can happen because Whitaker has that. He has that power, and he's explosive. He covers distance real quick. Anything can happen, man.
Yeah, them young cats, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Cats.
Huh?
You gotta outthink them.
Yeah. All right. So 12,000 were in attendance. The gate was 2,400,000, and the bonuses went to Whitaker and Romero for fight of the night, Font and Laprise for performances of the night. The night before was 6,300 in attendance, $432,000 gate. Bonuses went to Gaethje and Johnson for fight of the night, Gaethje and Torres for performance of the night, and again Gaethje doubling up there. How about this other big fight that we left out, and then after that we can pick apart wherever you guys want, whatever direction you want to go, but we have to talk more about the Reem and Verdum. This settled a trilogy that existed for 10 years. The Reem is wanting a title shot, but we stated on this show, Goze, you can't just cruise to a victory. You better make a statement because you got Ngannou breathing down people's back, and we didn't know what Cain Velasquez's situation is, because if he comes back, he's always close to being that #1 guy. Dana White did state, he was asked, he feels like Cain comes back in October, November. So he may be out of the equation, but Ngannou fights JDS at UFC 215, and of course there's a lot of buzz around him. So what did you guys think of the Reem and Verdum? Did you all agree with the decision, and of course what comes out of it? Laura?
I didn't think it was the most entertaining fight. I do agree with the decision, but I also agree, and what I watched the post-fight press conference. I like that Alistair was pretty realistic about understanding that was not the most, title-worthy performance. I always appreciate fighters that can be honest about what they did and what they didn't do, and appreciate that wasn't lighting anybody's barn on fire.
Mm-hmm. Well,
man, I'm gonna be real with you. Verdum's my boy. I think I like watching the Overeem fight here and there, but I thought Verdum won that fight. I thought it was 1-1 going into the 3rd. I think that the first not much happened. I feel like Verdum did enough to win. I think the 2nd round.
Should he have taken that fight to the ground though when he hurt him?
No, he shouldn't have. But at the same time, I feel like he should have kept on swinging on him and maybe throwing some knees.
Too.
And even if he took him down, postured up and just went crazy. But I feel like Verdum did enough to win the fight. You look at but at the same time, the fight wasn't exciting, so it is what it is. But I thought Verdum won that fight. 2-1.
What I remember about that fight, I had this burrito that was so good. And I just remember it was like better than normal.
Guacamole on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like rice in your burritos or no?
I'll take just about anything. I know a lot of people say no cheese, no rice. That's not authentic.
Yeah.
But I'll do it.
Yeah.
Brown or white rice?
Black beans too.
Brown.
Black beans, yeah.
Okay. Brown or white rice?
Either.
White. Definitely not brown. Brown
Really?
rice is disgusting. Oh, hell
You like
no.
brown rice?
I'll never eat brown
It's all
rice.
right.
It's the same thing.
I can do either one, but I prefer brown.
That's something black folks, we don't eat brown rice.
No?
No. Am I lying?
Well, what else?
Am I
Chicken,
lying?
steak, pork, what?
Co-signed.
Yeah, I'll throw some chicken up in there, some steak up in there.
Well, where I'm from in Grand Rapids.
You're from Grand Rapids?
Didn't you know? We all know that.
Oh!
Damn.
Oh!
I was waiting for
no,
Laura
no,
to
no.
say, like, we invented
That's
brown
good.
rice.
That was
and
good.
brown
No, we invented furniture, and that was about it.
Uh-huh. Why did American Top Team have like a team vacation? I noticed a lot of ATT fighters were here. Now you had like 8 spread out over 2 cards, and I don't know if anybody's participating in the Dana White Contender Series show tomorrow. But I noticed Masvidal, Colby, a lot of them were here. So that's why you okay. Okay, cool.
When you guys hit the mat, there's so many of you. Do you know every single guy? I mean, is there ever a guy that slips in a couple of weeks and you go, who's that dude? Yeah? Are the teams still the same? Sandbag, Nation, all those guys? Has anybody crossed over? Yeah? He was team captain, right?
Masvidal? Okay. Yeah. All right, we got to take this break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Got a couple minutes left if you want to call in. 866-522-2846. Laura Sanko, King Mo in the house.
MMA Junkie Radio Network. Hit us up on Twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goze.
All right, quick note on the schedule for this week. Rob Font will co-host tomorrow's show. Recent winner here this past weekend. And he'll be here for the 2 hours to co-host. We'll also have Frank Trigg co-hosting Wednesday's show. And we're off on Thursday. That's right, we're off. And then Matt Erickson, one of our editors here at USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie, he will co-host Friday's show.
Cool.
So a lot of co-hosts this week. Of course, Laura Sanko and King Mo joining us today. Laura, repeat to the listeners that may not have tuned in the first hour. So your role with the Dana White Contender Series every Tuesday for the next 8 weeks, giving young fighters a chance and giving the old fighters a chance of redemption. I guess we'll borrow that term from the previous season that we had here with the Ultimate Fighter. So very interesting there, you know, that these fighters will have an opportunity on Fight Pass. And then, aside from getting paid to fight, this is their chance to get back in the UFC. But that decision comes down from Dana White the night of, correct?
Correct, yeah. It's redemption and revelation. So these are not just only fighters coming out of the UFC. It's a lot of guys that have never quite broken through that glass ceiling, so to speak. So guys, I think there are a handful of guys that maybe tried out for tough and didn't make it. It's fantastic to see these fighters that have been on the cusp, have been just waiting for that call, waiting for that call, to get a version of that call where they can go in and fight on this show live in front of Dana White himself. And later on at the end of the night, he is going to pick out who makes it in. And it could be 1, could be 2, could be 5, could be 10. It's up to Dana.
That means subliminally, you better go for that finish. You
Exactly.
better impress.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what? And really, honestly, I will say this: if Bellator, PFL, UFC, one championship, somebody said, George, go out and scout for us, I would love to do that. Travel the world and scout new talent or whatever. But one of the, like at the top of my notes, it wouldn't just be how you perform. It's how you present yourself, because like Mo told us about 5 years ago, this thing's changing from sport to entertainment.
Absolutely.
Now they call it sports entertainment, but you have to bring something to the table to get noticed, because there's a lot of great fighters out there. You can be 10-0, Mo can be 10-0, but if you're presenting yourself and entertaining and yeah, exactly. You know, that might be the difference. I would encourage fighters to work on that. If they, you know, not only feedback off their skill set, but just, you know, learn English, you know, and have a shtick, a nickname, a great song to walk out to, something that the fans can latch on to. Because there's new fans that walk in. There's 12,000 last Saturday. It was probably 8,000 hardcores, 4,000 noobs that were walking out, and the dad was telling the kid, "Who'd you like?" And he's going, the one with the mohawk, or the one that said this or slit his throat, or you know what I mean. And Daddy, can I get his T-shirt? Or tell me when he's fighting next. Can we see him fight again? So you have to do something so that the fans can latch on to. I've been saying this for such a long time, and a lot of fighters disagree. A lot of them say, "No, man, it's the promotion's job to do it."
You gotta have fights that people are going to remember too. You got to have fights that people are going to remember, because I can guarantee you that Michael Johnson's stock did not go down last weekend. In my opinion, I don't know about other people's opinion.
I like that guy, man. I
but
really do.
how you can't? I could foresee a situation where on this series a guy fights his heart out, loses a close decision, and Dana White still says, "You know what? You're in."
You too, like Bonner, Bonner against Griffin.
Absolutely. If you fight your heart out, you go out there, you look for a finish, you fight. You know, you're not. At the end of the day, people want to see a fight, not a competition. And it's so hard to remove yourself from that when your goal is to reach the next rung on the ladder. Because there's a balance between I have to win to continue to climb that ladder. And it's such a tight line to ride between fighting to win and just fighting.
And Dan Haley and Brendan Fitzgerald will come over and handle play-by-play duties, alternating on weeks with Eves Edwards. And who's the other color commentator?
Paul Felder.
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
But
I had to read that twice, but it was late last night. I go, what? That can't be right.
But just as importantly,
and
Snoop Dogg and Uriah Faber.
Snoop Dogg and Uriah Faber on the alternate broadcast.
How's that going to work?
Okay.
What are you guys anticipating?
You mean literally what's he going to sound like, or like the logistics of how is that going to work?
What is he going to sound like?
Have you watched Planet Earth?
No.
You have to go
I've
watch
seen it,
Planet Earth.
You have?
Actually, and you could. There are videos of him talking through fights on the internet. His commentary of Khabib's fight.
Will he
was
be cage side, or are they
I
watching from
believe
another
so.
room?
We're literally going to. No. He's going to be in the building. We're going to rehearsals later this evening. So I don't really know the actual logistics, but my understanding is he and Uriah will sit cage side, just like the other commentary team will. And you, as a listener, as a viewer, get to pick which audio feed. So if you don't like the idea of listening to Snoop Dogg talk through a fight, you don't have to listen to that. I personally think that would be amazing and awesome and fun. And I'm one of those people. There were so many people that freaked out when they announced that. Oh, this is terrible. This is awful. It's fun. You don't have to listen to that audio feed if you don't want to. It's fun.
Well, the one thing I've learned is there's just a whole new generation that's behind us that doesn't think like us, and they have a different idea of
Did
what
you not
fun
like
is.
it?
So you have. No, I like the idea.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're trying it, I applaud them. Now, they may pull the plug after a season or not, but you got to try something. I'm telling Goze all the time, I'm like, we just celebrated 10 years, and we're going to do our 25th under show. But I tell them, I go, we got to freshen things up because that new audience, I see the feedback they give us on certain things. They just think differently.
Yeah,
the millennials.
They for sure do.
And then that makes you Lizzle Snizzle, right?
Lizzle Snizzle. I'll be Lizzle Snizzle all night.
It's going to be Lizzle Snizzle.
Lizzle my Snizzle. Here with Dana White.
How about you, Mo? Have you commentated since the Invicta days? Yeah. But did you enjoy it when you did it? So if somebody wants to holler at you, you'd be willing to color commentate? But that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg is out there. Right.
Yeah, but you'd be keeping it 90% real.
93.2.
93.7. It was 93.75 now. Okay.
All right. I want to thank you both for coming on the show here. Really enjoyed getting your feedback on Amanda Nunes, a teammate of yours. Laura, same thing, chiming in, and of course breaking that news about what Dana White's going to do.
Absolutely.
With this Contender Series, he'll let everybody know if you're staying, if you're going, and it reminds me of the movie Gladiator. Not the porn version, that's Gladiator.
Oh, yeah,
the one with Russell Crowe, and they had to go up to what was it? Commodus was the name of the Gladiator, right? And he would tell you if you're.
Did the other version also involve a lot of thumb?
Yeah, actually it did. Okay. It did. So we'll be back tomorrow with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. Rob Font will co-host with us, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Also, a couple quick Twitter blasts at King Mo FH for King Mo's Twitter. And for Laura, it's at Laura_Sanko at the Goze. I'm at MMA Junkie George. We're out of here, folks. Go out there and be champions.